When someone says all white people are racist, they're not saying all white people are bad. They're saying all white people are subject to the sociological and psychological conditioning of society where racism is a fundamental systemic issue. They're saying all white people suffer from the sociological phenomenon of living in a world, in a country where racism, systemic racism, is a fundamental thing that makes that society exist. That means as white people we have subconscious processes and behaviors that come out as a direct result of that. Behaviors that actively cause harm to other people, behaviors we need to become aware of, mindsets we need to work on.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. So more and more palm-colored people are coming out to talk about the racist homes they were raised in, and you can really feel the emotion in their voices, right? They're not just telling stories, they're showing what breaking generation patterns look like in real time. A lot of them are saying that they don't want their kids to grow up the same way, and that's honestly something to be proud of. Anyways, credit goes to the original creators of the clips. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for tapping in. Let's watch and I'll be back with some commentary.
So story time, right? I was raised in Georgia, been here all of my life. I live in a smaller town. I'm not in South Georgia. I'm about 45 minutes away from Atlanta, but that's neither here nor there. So anyway, growing up, I mean, you see things growing up, but nobody forced on me not to, date Black Americans or hang out with them. But I would hear things here and there, of course. My dad's side of the family is where the biggest problem comes from because it's my bigger half. My mom's side isn't that big. It's just her and my uncle now. I have a few great aunts and stuff that live in Alabama, but I never knew them, so I can't really speak on them. But I have people on my dad's side of the family that are definitely blatantly racist, as well as incoherently racist. They don't realize the things that they say are offensive and not true or stereotypical or whatever else. You know what I mean? My dad's side of the family knows I don't go around on that side because I will speak up in a heartbeat. I've already had it in and out with that side of the family. I have no problem not having that fucking family because who are they and why would I want them? My sons are what matter to me. And on my dad's side, my kids are the only quote-unquote Black kids, biracial children in the family. I straight up told all of them, you are not, absolutely not, going to use my kids as a pawn to say you are not racist. I'm not racist. I have mixed this, or I have biracial this, or whatever else it is that they like to say. I put an end to that really fast. I've had people ask me, well, aren't you scared to lose what you have on the white side? What the fuck do I have? I could give a shit less. There's nothing that I'm losing. I have gained so much more from removing my mindset and me, my kids, and just removing myself from that situation. I have gained so much more rather than I have lost. So it's no big deal to me. But one thing I don't play around with is racism, or bigotry, or misogyny, or things like that. I don't mind people have a differing opinion. That's fine. That's going to happen. It happens every freaking day. No two people think alike. But if your views are racist, misogynistic, bigotry, and so forth, I have something to say, and I'm probably going to be rude about it because most people know what the hell that they're doing because we're all grown-ups. We're not children.
Family members are becoming bad people, and I know that you guys are not bad people, and that's what really hurt.
So please go back to get full context of the video that I'm stitching. But in a nutshell, she is sharing her experience with her family on the holidays, who she thinks extremely differently politically. And she's tried to coexist with these individuals, her family, immediate family, during the holidays, by not discussing politics. Of course they do, and this is the part that I choose to stitch because she says, I'm beginning to think you're bad people, and I know you're not bad people. They pretty much kick her out with her gifts. This is what I have an issue with because she looks like she's in a lot of pain, and I don't have those kinds of issues, so I truly don't know what she's going through. But I think the problem she's really facing is, yes, they are bad people. You are trying to accommodate individuals in your life who are actually horrible individuals. And you are trying to sugarcoat it and say they are not bad people. But they are. They're laughing at the immigrants who were dropped off at Kamala Harris's house in D.C. I think it was D.C. Christmas Eve by that asshole. I think the governor of Texas. But anyway, she's sharing the story to let others know that she's struggling too. And it's just really hard for me to be sympathetic for something like that because she's trying to, accommodate people who are just horrible. And we have to deal with that all the time. Not in our families, hopefully, but it's just like you're trying to make them something they're not. They're shitty people. They really are. Now, how you deal with that is up to you. I wouldn't fuck with them. That's just me. But it's just like you literally said, I'm beginning to think they're bad people, and I know you're not bad people. They're laughing at that, and God only knows what else they've said. They're just bad people. Straight up, it's not you, boo. It's them. And if you want to keep horrible people in your life, that's up to you. That's your family. And some people may have an issue with this, but yeah, they're bad people.
I just wanted to ask you about how you guys were able to raise us and you aren't racist. That's a big thing right now because, racism is kind of driving our government, our administration, the ICE raids. How did people your age coming from wherever you came from, what were your thoughts when you were raising us that we didn't grow up thinking that we were different or better or anything?
Well, our thoughts were that we had black students in the high school we went to, and some very prominent ones. And it came a little while later, after we graduated from high school, one of the graduates there, a black man, donated, I think, all the money that took to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I couldn't put it out.
But he went to, what was your high school?
East High School, Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
This was probably 15 years after we graduated.
Oh, okay. But you guys went to the same high school, right, Mom?
Yeah.
In my case,
Flying.
in my case, I was on the wrestling team in high school, and one of our wrestlers was Leroy Haynes, I think that was his name, and he and I were always partners in practice, and so we were going to, this was Denver, Colorado, we were going to somewhere in eastern Colorado, to a high school, and we were going to wrestle with another school, and I had, when you go on a trip like that, you have to have lodgings, because you're there several days. So Clifford and I were going to lodge together. He black and I white, and never thought about it until my mother found out and raised hell at the school. And I can't remember the results. I think we ended up not even going.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And how did that make you feel?
I've accepted it. That's what it was with her. But I hated my mother all the time. It didn't change my hate for her because she was a mean, evil stepmother.
Yeah, but a lot of even mom had a great mom, but also there was a lot of racism in those days, right, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
I remember you telling me a story about growing up. You grow up and you not racist at all with me, but that's not how Grammy was.
No. I think most of their friends were prejudiced.
Mm-hmm.
I think they all were kind of like that.
I think you're right, very much so. But they're good people, but they're not our kind of people.
Right. Separate but equal.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I ever heard a racial slur was from your mom when I was little. Do you remember
Okay.
that? Like sitting around the table, and Mom was like, you were horrified.
Well, that's what she said.
And Mom like brought me aside, and she's like, I mean, I never even heard that word used, and my grandma was using it.
Yeah.
Your evil stepmom.
And the word was
N-word.
N-word.
Mm-hmm.
And I had several friends in high school that were pretty cool. And when I went to college, some of them were still with me. And yet, anytime my mother would say, this is my evil stepmother, by the way. Anytime that she would use the N-word, she would always lower her voice.
Because she knew it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She knew she
And
was
yet,
a bigot.
She grew up at one time, fairly well-off people, had a very large 3-story house in Bonita, Oklahoma. And when I was a young kid and we'd go down there, she had to live in maids.
Mm-hmm.
A maid and a cook. And they were just wonderful people to them, you know, because
They were her
subjects.
servants. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mom, didn't you want to invite your friend over for a birthday party or something? Isn't that what happened? Then you found out how your mom felt.
Didn't want it to happen. Didn't want it to happen, sorry.
Yeah, so tell that story.
I don't remember that well enough to tell it, but she was, this girl was smart and terrific student, and suddenly I couldn't have her to my party.
How does that make you feel? How did that make you feel?
I was devastated and mad at my mom.
And that kind of devastation is because you have to admit to everybody, but your mom was that way.
Yeah. But when you guys raised us, like, we never talked about it. Like, it was just kind of by osmosis that I didn't even know there was racism in California because I never heard it in the house and you never said anything. I only remember hearing you one time talking to somebody on the phone, and there was a black family that was looking at the house on the street, and you're like, I hope they move in because that'll really piss off so-and-so.
Yeah.
So I was trying to put the pieces together.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Subsequently in college, there were a lot more people in college.
Multicultural people.
Multicultural, yeah. And we'd chat with them, and we would go to the candy store or the bar or stuff like that, and it was no issue.
Mm-hmm.
But again, my evil stepmother, was raised in Oklahoma,
Yeah, she was a Southerner.
and
Yeah.
it was just, even when she'd say the N-word, it'd lower her voice. And yet the two that were servants in her home as she grew up were good people.
Right. Yeah.
But they used the word to describe them.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about people your age today that are still, wanting the immigrants gone and still have racist tendencies? And
I don't know how a thinking person could ever believe that, but we know they do.
yeah, they do. There's still this white supremacy ideal in so many people.
And
Yeah.
people who, well, like my mother, would not claim at all that she was prejudiced.
I know.
It was just because they're lower class people and they're good.
The one she
Use the
knows.
word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one she knows.
So that's a tough one to call. And as I say, in the Navy, they would probably ship 200 people in the ship, and I imagine there were 24 of those people. And yet,
Black people.
huh?
Black,
Yeah,
white,
people.
Mexican.
Yeah, and yet you're all the same. You're all pulling for the same thing. If something bad happens, you got to turn to it and go to work and see if we can save this ship and stuff like that. And we had a black man on the ship, very young, probably 22 years old, and a big guy. And I heard one day somebody was screaming. We were just like somebody was out of their mind, screaming loud. And it turned out that there was a guy going into a small compartment, and this was a white guy. And he went down a small compartment, and then he accidentally dropped a canister of might have been carbon dioxide, but some gas, and screaming, and nobody do anything. And this undesirable guy went in, grabbed him, big guy, threw him right up out of the hole, visibly threw the whole guy's body up and saved his life.
Wow.
And we thought that was very cool.
Not undesirable. Thanks for not raising me with racism, you guys.
You're welcome, sir.
You definitely didn't prepare me for the world, though.
Yeah. The world didn't get prepared for you.
Here are some ways my family not so subtly let me know that they are racist. Starting off strong, they said that if I ever dated a black guy, they would him. Next, they wouldn't let me stay at any black girl's house, and their reasoning was because it was different. This one is crazy. My dad used to say that our family used to own slaves, but don't worry, we were nice to ours. What the fuck? They would also give a full dissertation and resume of the one token black friend they may have had. So for instance, they would say, oh, John, I talked to him at the store yesterday, and he's just a really good guy. Like, did you even know, like, he went to college, and he has a degree. He's just a really stand-up guy. Meanwhile, neither of my parents went to college. Like, my dad went, but he didn't finish. Like, why are we needing to give this prerequisite of a black person, and why that person is okay? Oh, and lastly, they would both use the N-word with a hard R, and didn't seem to have an issue with that. So
it's not easy to speak against the same system that once protected you, but seeing people use their privilege to tell the truth, that's how things start to change, right? It's not about perfection, it's about trying, and this right here, this is what trying looks like. Anyways, thank you so much for tapping in when you saw this video. Credit goes to the original creators, like I said before. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think. And as usual, I'll see you on my next one.